You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Catholic Chicago, where we talk about the Black Catholic issues here in the Archdiocese of Chicago. My name is Father Michael Trail, and I'm honored to be the host of this program, and I also serve as the pastor of St. Thomas the Apostle Catholic Church in historic Hyde Park, Chicago. You can listen to us here online, also on the radio at WNDZ 750 AM, as well as our YouTube channel, Catholic Chicago, as well as all of our social media platforms. I'm joined here today by Deacon Jim Norman, who is the Vicar for Deacons for the Archdiocese of Chicago, a new title for him, but is no stranger to the Black Catholic community from many aspects. And I've invited him on here today for a state of the Black Catholic Church here in Chicago. You know, here in the Archdiocese, we are still continuing the process of Renew My Church, and here in the Black community, the way that we have experienced Renew My Church is unique, and so I think it's important for us to be able to kind of see where we are today, learn some historical information, see where God is working in our community here today, and then also see where the Lord is inviting us to a bright future ahead. And so I'm honored to welcome Deacon Jim Norman. Welcome, Deacon Jim.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. So Deacon Jim, again, congratulations on your new title. You're currently the Vicar for Deacons for the Archdiocese. An honorable role, considering that we have the largest diaconate in the world, is my understanding, certainly at least within the United States. But formerly, you were the director of Vicariate Operations for Vicariate 6 and was working very closely in Renew My Church in the context of the Black community. And so, again, Deacon Jim, I want to welcome you, and maybe a little bit from your perspective. You've been in this work a while now. Can you talk a little bit about some of the historical things that have taken place in the Black Catholic community up until this point?
Yes, certainly. So, as you said, I started as director of Vicariate Operations in Vicariate 6 almost 7 years ago. And about 5 years ago, the Archdiocese embarked on the initiative Renew My Church, to make disciples, build community, and inspire witness. The drivers of that work by the Cardinal were looking at kind of the current trends and demographics and where we are. It looked at the changing demographics in the city of Chicago, a loss of over 13% of the population in the city of Chicago, people moving further south out of the state of Illinois. It also looked at the declining number of priests, anticipated that we would only have 200 or so priests for then our 300 plus parishes. It also looked at aging assets, our facilities, aging and desperately in need of repair. And so draining the resources of the faith communities and the Archdiocese. And we all know, unfortunately, the declining mass attendance over the years, almost a decrease of 25% over the last 10 to 20 years. So those were significant drivers for the initiative. And Vicariate 6 saw the greatest impact of those demographics in terms of a lot of exodus out of those traditional Southside neighborhoods to further south suburbs and out of the state for a host of reasons. So that we had 66 parishes in Vicariate 6 when I started as director of Vicariate Operations. And at the close, because we're nearing the completion for Vicariate 6 of Renew My Church, the structural portion of Renew My Church, we are now at 26 parishes. So that's significant in terms of the reduction of the number of parishes. And you may ask, as a result of that, how are the faithful on the south side of Chicago, particularly Black Catholics, feeling? I certainly and I've heard it and witnessed it as as a director of vicariate operations, as a vicariate liaison, as a project manager, helping parishes transition from 2 or 3 or 5 parishes to one new unified parish. Certainly sadness, grief, in some instances, initially some shock. And so a bit of a disorientation and disarray. Some would say very openly, kind of, is the church supporting the Black Catholic community in Chicago? I could say from my role, just on the other side of that sadness, that grief, and that shock, we're seeing great light and signs of great hope in parish communities like St. Catherine Drexel, St. Moses the Black, which is the formation of 3 parishes, St. Dorothy, St. Felicitas, and St. Columbanus. And I mentioned St. Catherine Drexel, which was the first to go through in wave 0 of Renew My Church through decisions and discernment, which are the combination of St. Felicitas, St. Albie, and St. Joachim. What we're seeing there is communities come together in a united way. We're seeing more vibrancy in those communities, more outreach in those communities, more resources to support the communities and the schools that they support as well.
Certainly, and I'm mindful of the people that have experienced the shock of losing their building or losing their identity in their parish. For some of our parishioners who have experienced this, this may be their second or third go around, of this. We had a big closing of parishes in the late 80s and early 90s where there was a large reduction of parishes in the Archdiocese. And so our parishioners have gone, this may be their second or their third parish that they have kind of been subsumed into. But I really take encouragement just talking to some of our elders, just the fortitude and the witness and the encouragement that even in spite of their church home being closed for a myriad of reasons, that their faith in the Lord is still so strong that they can make that move to the next place, And I think a great example like that, as you say, is a place like St. Catherine Drexel. Even on the west side, a place like Our Lady of Sorrows Basilica, where you serve as deacon. I know that while that parish has always stood alone, think about all those other communities that have come together and been welcomed by a place like Our Lady of Sorrows. And so it is really admiring to see the faithfulness and the fortitude of our Black Catholic parishioners here in the Archdiocese, in spite of all the difficulty and shock and sadness and all the range of emotions that come with closing.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. The thing that remains constant and the thing that remains palpable and powerful is the faith of the Black Catholic community. The ability to move forward through pain, through sadness, to move forward with hope, kind of reminds you of Abraham.
Right, yeah.
Moving forward in hope to a new place and a new beginning. You see signs of that today at the new parish Our Lady of Africa, which was formerly Holy Angels Church site, where 5 parishes in the Bronzeville community came together to form one new vibrant parish. And you see, the choir members from Corpus Christi singing as joyfully at the new parish Our Lady of Africa as they did in their home parish that they loved dearly. You see them lecturing, you see them involved in the various ministries and really uplifting the spirit of the entire new community. That is the strength. I think the thing that they're finding is on the other side of that, they now have resources that they didn't have before to support them and the communities around them. And the communities around many of our churches have great needs. And so we can reach out in a way we never were able to before when we were concerned about our roof, our boiler, our electrical system, our plumbing. We had the whole sum just in case. We couldn't invest in outreach ministries. We couldn't invest in youth ministries. We weren't able to provide scholarships to our schools for those families and children who needed them. And so we are getting reacquainted to what it means to have faith and to have the resources to make that faith visible in our faith community and to the larger community surrounding the parish.
Absolutely. And I, as a new pastor myself, I've been doing this for about 13 months now. I now have a greater understanding myself of just all the pieces that come into it. It's not only just the faith life of the community, but it's like having a place where a safe and comfortable place where people can come and worship, a beautiful space where people can come and worship, having resources available where we can be a strong presence in the neighborhood and be a strong presence in the community. All of those things come together to make a parish vital and thrive, and for us to be a part of the community as well. I also am mindful that Chicago is historically a very Catholic city, where we're used to having churches on every corner. And I love being on the South Side now because people identify themselves what parish they're from, and so there is still a real beauty in the fact that we can still have a presence in this part of the city, that we can have a presence in the community in our parishes, just to say that the church is still here, the church is still present, not only for prayer and for worship, but then also for good works and for service and to do God's holy work. And so we're going to take a short break right here, and we'll be coming right back to continue our conversation on the state of the Black Catholic Church here in Chicago.
Catholic Charities' Refugee Resettlement Program has been especially busy this year, assisting individuals and families who have fled dangerous situations in their homeland, including Afghanistan and the Ukraine. The Refugee Resettlement Team helps with everything they need to start to rebuild their lives in a new country, including housing, employment, clothing, food, English classes, and referrals for legal and immigration services. The refugees are tremendously grateful for the compassion and practical help they're receiving, and they're giving back and helping each other plan for a brighter, safer future. Volunteer opportunities are currently available for those who would like to be family mentors and tutors, so children and adults can practice English. To learn more about these rewarding opportunities, call 312-655-7096. That's 312-655-7096.
I can't imagine myself going into any other school.
Our school fosters growth by being a backbone to our family.
My kids are incredibly well-rounded. I see a lot of kindness in them on a daily basis.
One of the things I think Catholic schools do well is personalize the learning experience. You can hear joy in the classrooms.
I feel that I'm happy that I am in this kind of school.
Our school communities provide students with academic excellence and character education in a supportive and stable learning environment. Come see for yourself. Visit archchicago.org/findaschool.
Do you have an old bicycle that's not being used? Consider donating it to Catholic Charities Veterans Bike Project of Lake County. Skilled volunteers are refurbishing bicycles to make them safe and ready to be used by veterans to get to and from their new places of work. We also gratefully accept financial contributions that are used to purchase bike helmets and other safety accessories. Our veterans have faithfully served the United States, and now it is our privilege to serve them. For more information on the Veterans Bike Project of Lake County, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
And welcome back to Catholic Chicago, where we're talking about the Black Catholic Initiative and the concerns of the African American community here in the Archdiocese of Chicago. Again, I'm joined here today by Deacon Jim Norman, who's the Vicar for Deacons for the Archdiocese of Chicago, and formerly the Vicariate Operations Director for Vicariate 6. And today we're continuing our conversation on the state of the Black Catholic Church here in the Archdiocese of Chicago. Deacon Jim, we've talked a little bit about some of the historical stuff, kind of where we are today. You know, in your role, especially not only in your work as Vicariate Operations Director, but also too as the liaison for Renew My Church in Vicariate 6.
I'm sorry, Father Michael. I'm losing. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. I wonder if we're having a little bit of technical difficulty here. How about now, Deacon Jim? Can you hear me better?
Good.
Great.
Good,
Perfect.
yes.
Okay. Modern technology, you know how it goes. So no, as I mentioned to you, Deacon Jim, in your role, we've talked a little bit about historically what's happened in Renew My Church, some of the closures, but also to some of those kind of glimmers of hope that are happening today. I wonder if we could hear from your perspective, what do you think tomorrow is going to look like? Maybe some long-term hopes and dreams, or some long-term things that you see from your vantage point.
Yeah, I'm beginning to see signs of the faith, the vibrancy, and the recognition of its resources begin to unleash the power of the Black Catholic Church in the Archdiocese of Chicago. I think there are greater opportunity, and we will see greater evangelization, greater outreach to young adults, to teenagers and children. That'll certainly be a part of what we see and what the outreach is. I think there's a lot of discussion and a lot of work that's moving forward to welcome folks back into the church, those who have strayed away for a number of reasons, COVID and even before that. So to invite them back in such a way to have conversations. We talk about the soft entry points and creation of those soft entry points, to have those discussions about the important issues of life and how God plays a part in that. And in bringing them in, to slowly bringing them in to a relationship with Jesus Christ and discipleship. I think you'll see greater resources going towards our Catholic schools by our parish communities, which hasn't happened in an awful long time, but because now of the resources, that is possible. I also think you'll see a tighter and a closer knit Black Catholic community in the Archdiocese of Chicago. One of the realities of this changing demographics and the decrease in the demographics is, at one point, you go back 20 years ago, there were somewhere between 39 and 41 historically Black Catholic parishes. Today, there are 9. And while we can mourn that number change and that loss, I think we have to look forward to the impact that each of those 9 parishes can have on their communities, and how each of those 9 faith communities in the city of Chicago can come together to be more unified and be more collaborative than they ever were before. And so I'm looking forward to the work of the BCI going forward. I'm looking forward to the work that you're doing here with the radio show and the work that's going on with the Pulse newsletter by Dr. Kimberly Lymore and greater collaboration.
I love that you talk about like a network. I think that's a great way for us to look at our bright future ahead, because, we realize that we're all trying to serve the same people. We're all trying to serve the Black Catholic population here in the Archdiocese. And as you mentioned, some of the 9 parishes are now are solidly Black Catholic parishes, but there are Africans and African Americans who may worship in a mixed community, where there may be a small pocket of African Americans in their particular parish. I'm thinking places like Evanston or of the sort, but they're still part of the family, they're still part of the community. And so creating this larger network to not only just focus on the 9 parishes, but then like the people that are in the pews, where their Black spirituality comes to life and it shapes and forms who they are in their relationship with Jesus Christ. And being able to kind of plug them into this greater network to say that, no, we're all in this together. It's not just like what's happening at this one parish, but if we can pull up our resources together, do all these things together, it just makes us all the stronger.
Right. If our 9 parishes becomes kind of centers of excellence and resources and collaborate, then, it's kind of this presumption, wherever you sit, African American of African descent, you're a member.
Right.
And we are speaking to you spiritually. We're providing services to you spiritually. We're creating a connection to the larger Black Catholic Church in the Archdiocese of Chicago. I think that will be the role of those collective 9 parishes, frankly, the role of BCI, and the role of us each individually.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think having those opportunities available for shared prayer and within that network is going to be powerful. We already have opportunities like that already, such as the Black Catholic Prayer Service for our schools, and that takes place every February. Recently we just had the Sunrise Prayer Service offered by the Black Deacons, and I'm looking forward for the BCI to have more opportunities for shared prayer where the entire network can come together and pray as one body and one spirit in Christ.
Right. I think we saw that, especially as you referenced the Sunrise Prayer Service. There was the Peace Fellowship Breakfast following that, and then the Peace Symposium, which talked about the causes and the impact of violence in our community and what we could do as Christians, as Catholic Christians, to address those issues of violence and promote peace in our communities. And we recognize that those issues of violence and the need for peace are not only happen in the inner city of Chicago, but it's an issue in Highland Park, it's an issue in Evanston, it's an issue in Westmont. And so that's where I think the power of our voice, our experience, expertise, and then our resources can come to bear.
Certainly, and I was really encouraged to hear about the great things that took place at the Sunrise Prayer Service and the events that took place afterwards that day. I just heard some really good sharing that took place, some honest conversations, but then also too just some, as you mentioned, just some shared fellowship and some solidarity and unity together, which is always very important especially for us as Catholics.
Right.
I'm mindful though. In your role as vicar for deacons as well, one of the things that we have here in the Archdiocese is, we have a large Black diaconate population here. Can you talk a little bit about just kind of, again, kind of shifting roles a little bit from your vantage point of looking at the entire community, but now as your new role as vicar for deacons, can you talk a little bit about just some of the work that the Black deacons are doing in the Archdiocese?
Yeah, I think certainly the focus led by Deacon Leroy Gill on the topic of violence with Sunrise Prayer Service, with the end of the school year service, which was held this year, and the work that's being done in the schools by the Black deacons, how they stay connected with our Black Catholic schools during communion services, prayer services at those schools, how they engage with the students as mentors and counselors, how they bring the community together. There's a great feature recently in Chicago Catholic of Deacon Gill and his work bringing the police and first responders, together with the school children in Inglewood. So you see a lot of that work going on, as well as the deacons on the west side of Chicago, Deacon Shumpert and Deacon Pouncey, working at St. Martin de Porres and St. Agatha on outreach issues for jobs, for mental health resources, which the beloved and recently departed Deacon Dexter Gordon were advocating for. So you see the Black deacons clearly on the forefront of social justice issues and advocating and engaging other deacons, not only Black deacons, but other deacons in the cause and other members of the church in those causes.
Certainly, and that's incredible work, and I'm so encouraged to see how everyone, no matter what their vocation is, but particularly in the work of the Black deacons, how they're advocating for justice and for the change that's necessary to make our church and our city and our community a place of peace. And so I really am thankful for that and encouraged by their good work. Deacon Jim, we're coming to the end of our time here. I firstly want to say thank you and a word of congratulations to you. Congratulations on your new role as Vicar for Deacons for the Archdiocese, and thank you for sharing your perspective on the state of the Black Catholic Church here in the Archdiocese. I, like you, I see a bright future ahead, and I'm excited to see how God is going to continue to work in and through our community.
Thank you, and thank you for the work you're doing.
You're very welcome. And so this has been an edition of Catholic Chicago, where we've talked about the Black Catholic initiative and the work of the Black Catholic community here in the Archdiocese of Chicago. As always, you can listen to us on WNDZ at 7:50 a.m. and on our YouTube channel, Catholic Chicago. Again, my name is Father Michael Trail, and it's been my joy to be with you. May God be with you, and may God bless you.